Welcome back, BIM fans in Australia and New Zealand, to the deep dive. It's been a wild ride so far, right? From the state of BIM down under to getting into the nitty-gritty with LODs, and even 7D BIM. This deep dive, though, is all about the future. BIM in the age of AI and automation. You might be thinking AI in construction. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But trust me, this is happening right now. It's going to change the way we design, build, and manage buildings forever. To navigate this exciting new frontier, we've got an expert with us today. Who's at the forefront of these advancements?
Great to be here. It's fascinating because for a long time, BIM was about digitizing the building process, moving from those paper blueprints to 3D models. Now AI is taking us beyond just visualization. It's about adding intelligence, automating tasks, and ultimately creating buildings that are truly smart.
Okay, I'm hooked already, but let's break it down. What does AI in BIM actually look like in practice? What are some concrete examples that our listeners can relate to?
One of the most exciting areas is AI-driven design, particularly with something called generative models. Imagine this. You input your design requirements into the software. Things like maximizing natural light, minimizing waste, sticking to a budget. And the AI generates multiple design options, often within minutes. It's like having a super-powered design assistant, exploring possibilities you might never have considered on your own.
Wait, so instead of spending weeks sketching, refining different options, the AI can churn out a bunch of possibilities almost instantly. That sounds like a dream come true for any architect or designer.
Exactly. And these aren't just random designs. The AI considers all your input parameters, uses complex algorithms to create solutions that are tailored to your specific needs.
That's incredible. It seems like this could be a huge time saver, especially in the early design stages. But how does it actually work? Is it just a black box spitting out designs?
It's not magic, although it can feel like it sometimes. Generative design algorithms work by exploring a vast design space. Think of it as all the possible combinations of building elements and configurations. The AI uses your criteria to narrow down that space and find the best solutions.
So it's not replacing the architect's creativity. It's more like giving them a powerful tool to explore more options more efficiently. And what about those costly errors that often pop up later in the process? Can AI help with that?
Absolutely. One of the most impressive things about AI-powered design tools is their ability to predict potential problems early on. Imagine being able to identify design bottlenecks or conflicts before they cause costly delays or rework down the line.
So the AI is like a virtual building inspector, catching issues before they even happen. That sounds like a game changer for keeping projects on track and on budget.
Exactly. And think about the implications for large-scale infrastructure projects where delays can cost millions. AI can analyze those complex designs, identify potential clashes between different systems, and even suggest solutions based on a massive database of previous projects.
Okay, now you're talking my language. You mentioned clash detection. Isn't this something traditional BIM software already does? What's different with AI in the mix?
You're right. Clash detection has been a core feature of BIM. For a while, it's incredibly useful for identifying conflicts between, say, ductwork running through a structural beam or plumbing pipes clashing with electrical conduits. However, traditional clash detection simply identifies the problem. It's still up to the human team to figure out the solution.
So you get this long list of clashes and then have to go back and forth between different disciplines to try to resolve them. I can see how that would be a time suck.
Exactly. It can be time-consuming and sometimes frustrating process. But here's where AI takes clash detection to a whole new level. Instead of just flagging the issue, AI-powered systems can actually propose solutions that can analyze the clash, consider factors like building codes, accessibility requirements, and even aesthetic preferences, and then suggest the most optimal way to resolve the conflict.
So the AI isn't just telling you what's wrong, it's telling you how to fix it. That's seriously impressive. Are these AI systems learning from each project to become more effective?
That's the beauty of it. These systems are constantly learning from a vast database of previous projects. They can often suggest solutions that are more creative, efficient, and cost-effective than a human team might come up with on their own.
I can see how this would save architects and engineers a ton of time and headaches, especially if you're a smaller firm, without a massive team. But it seems like these AI tools are mostly focused on the design phase. What about the rest of the project lifecycle?
That's a great question. It's important to remember that AI's impact extends far beyond design. Let's talk about automation. Think about all the repetitive, time-consuming tasks that are involved in a construction project. Things like generating reports, creating schedules, managing documentation, or doing quantity takeoffs. These are essential tasks, but they can really bog down project teams and take away from more strategic work.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. I remember back when I was working on construction projects, spending hours manually updating spreadsheets, creating reports. It felt like a never-ending cycle of administrative work.
And that's where AI-powered automation comes in. There are now tools that can automate many of these routine tasks, freeing up valuable time for project managers, architects, and engineers to focus on higher-level decision-making and problem-solving.
So instead of drowning in paperwork, project teams can use that time to be more creative, more strategic, and ultimately deliver better buildings. That sounds like a win-win to me. Does this also mean fewer errors?
Absolutely. The beauty of automation is that it's not just about saving time, it's also about reducing errors. When you automate tasks, you eliminate the potential for human error, which can lead to costly mistakes and delays down the line.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
But let's not forget about the building itself. Once construction is finished, how can AI contribute to a building's long-term health and performance?
That's where things get really interesting. We've talked about AI in design and construction, but its role in facility management is equally transformative. One of the most exciting areas is predictive maintenance. Imagine having a system that can analyze real-time sensor data from the BIM model to predict when equipment is likely to fail or require maintenance.
Hold on. So the building is basically telling you what needs to be fixed before anything actually breaks down. That sounds incredible. Is that even possible?
Exactly, and that's incredibly valuable for facility managers. Instead of reacting to problems after they occur, they can be proactive, schedule maintenance in advance, and avoid costly downtime or emergency repairs.
That sounds like it would save building owners a ton of money in the long run. But how does it actually work? Where is this data coming from?
Remember those sensors we talked about earlier? They're becoming increasingly common in modern buildings, monitoring everything from temperature and humidity to energy consumption and air quality. This real-time data is fed back into the BIM model, where AI algorithms can analyze it. For patterns and anomalies, this data allows the AI to diagnose potential problems early on.
So it's like having a constant health check on the building, with the AI acting as a virtual doctor.
That's a great analogy, for example. It might detect a gradual increase in energy consumption, indicating a problem with the HVAC system, or it might notice unusual vibrations in a piece of equipment, suggesting that it's nearing the end of its lifespan.
I'm starting to see how AI is really turning BIM models into living, breathing systems that can adapt and respond to changing conditions. It's not just a static representation of a building anymore, is it?
Precisely. And that brings us to another exciting area: smart BIM models and the Internet of Things, IoT. You're probably familiar with the concept of smart devices in your home, things like smart thermostats, smart lights, or even smart appliances. Think of applying that same level of connectivity and intelligence to an entire building. That's what smart BIM models are all about. By integrating BIM with IoT sensors and data feeds, we can create dynamic models that are constantly updated with real-time information.
So instead of just being a snapshot of the building
Yeah.
at a specific point in time, the BIM model is like a live stream of what's happening right now.
Exactly. This unlocks so many possibilities. For example, during construction, project teams can use smart BIM models to track progress in real time, identify potential delays, and even monitor safety conditions on the job site.
I can see how that would be incredibly valuable. For keeping projects on track and ensuring worker safety, this real-time information is a game changer. What about once the building is occupied?
In a smart building, the BIM model becomes a powerful tool for optimizing building performance, improving occupant comfort, and even reducing energy consumption. Imagine a system that can automatically adjust lighting and temperature based on occupancy patterns, or one that can alert facility managers to potential air quality issues before they become a problem.
This living model concept is seriously mind-blowing. It feels like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of smart construction, where buildings are not just static structures, but dynamic, responsive systems.
It's an exciting time to be in this industry, that's for sure. But as with any new technology, there are challenges to overcome.
Right, and it wouldn't be a true deep dive if we didn't acknowledge those. So let's talk about the flip side. What are some of the hurdles that need to be addressed as we adopt AI in BIM?
One of the biggest challenges is the learning curve. Construction professionals, from architects and engineers to project managers and contractors, need to be trained. on how to effectively use these new AI-powered tools. It's not just about learning new software, it's about understanding the underlying principles of AI and how to interpret the data that these systems generate.
That makes sense. It's not enough to just have the technology. You need to have the knowledge and skills.
Yeah.
To use it wisely, we need to make sure that everyone is up to speed on how to use these new AI-powered tools.
Absolutely. And then there's the issue of data dependency. AI algorithms, especially those used in machine learning, rely on large data sets to train and improve their accuracy. In the construction industry, that data isn't always readily available or in a format that's easily accessible to AI systems.
So it's not just about having a lot of data. It's about having the right data,
Yep.
structured in a way that AI can understand and learn from.
Exactly, and that's a challenge that the industry is still working to address. There are efforts underway to standardize data formats, improve data sharing practices, and create more robust databases of construction information. But there's still a long way to go.
And I imagine there are also challenges when it comes to integrating these new AI tools with existing BIM software platforms.
You're absolutely right. The construction industry is notorious for its fragmented software landscape, with different companies using a wide variety of BIM platforms and other project management tools.
Yeah, I remember the days of trying to get different software packages to talk to each other. Is always a bit of a nightmare.
Well, imagine trying to integrate AI tools into that mix. It's not always a seamless process, and it often requires custom development or workarounds to bridge the gap between different systems. That's why it's so important to choose AI tools that are designed with interoperability in mind, that can easily exchange data with other platforms and systems.
So it's not just about the AI itself. It's about the ecosystem it operates in. The tools need to be able to work together effectively, or you just end up with more complexity and frustration.
Precisely. But here's the good news. These challenges, while real, are not insurmountable. The industry is actively working to address these hurdles, and we're seeing steady progress in terms of training, data standardization, and software integration.
So while there are bumps in the road, the overall direction is positive, and the potential benefits of AI and BIM are too significant to ignore.
Exactly. We're on the verge of a truly transformative shift in how we design, build, and manage buildings. And AI is at the heart of it all.
This has been an incredible conversation. I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what AI and automation can do for BIM, but it's clear that the possibilities are endless. But before we move on to some real-world examples, let's take a quick pause to gather our thoughts. We'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by the LinkedIn group BIM Australia and New Zealand. Join our public group, BIM Australia and New Zealand, for more discussions and insights into the world of BIM.
So we've talked about some of those challenges, right, as we move towards an AI-driven future in BIM. But let's shift gears. What's already happening out there? What are some concrete examples of AI and automation making a real difference on projects today, right here in Australia and New Zealand?
Yes, let's dive into some real-world applications. I always find it helpful to see how these technologies are being used on the ground.
Absolutely. Let's start with design. Remember generative design, where the AI explores all those design options based on your criteria. Well, there are some incredible examples of this being used in practice right here in our region.
Okay, tell me more. I'm all ears.
One project that comes to mind is the new library in Christchurch. They used generative design to create an optimized layout that maximized natural light and views while minimizing energy use. The AI considered factors like the building's orientation, the surrounding environment, and even the movement of the sun throughout the day, all while adhering to strict seismic design regulations.
Wow, so it's not just about aesthetics. The AI is actually helping to create buildings that are more sustainable, energy efficient, and resilient. All crucial factors for our region. It's great to see these technologies being used in projects that benefit our communities directly. What about construction? Where are we seeing AI and automation making a difference on the job site?
One area that's really taking off is robotics. We're starting to see robots being used for tasks like bricklaying, welding, and even concrete pouring. These robots can work faster, more accurately, and with greater consistency than human workers, leading to increased productivity and reduced waste.
Robots on construction sites. That sounds straight out of a futuristic movie. Is this something that we're going to be seeing more of in Australia and New Zealand?
Absolutely. It's not quite as widespread as in other parts of the world, but we're definitely moving in that direction. And remember, it's not about replacing human workers. It's about augmenting their capabilities, freeing them up from dangerous or repetitive tasks so they can focus on more skilled and specialized work.
So it's more about collaboration than replacement. Robots handling the heavy lifting, while humans focus on more strategic and creative tasks.
Exactly. And when robots and humans work together effectively, it can lead to significant gains in productivity, safety, and quality. It's about finding the right balance, leveraging the strengths of both humans and machines.
Okay, so we've got robots doing the physical work, but what about the more behind-the-scenes aspects of construction, like scheduling and logistics? Can AI help with that too?
You bet. There are now AI-powered tools that can analyze project data, predict potential delays, and even optimize construction schedules in real time. Imagine being able to anticipate delays before they happen and adjust your schedule accordingly, minimizing disruptions, keeping your project on track.
That sounds like a dream come true for any project manager, especially given the complexity of construction projects these days. I imagine it would also help with cost control.
Absolutely. AI-powered scheduling tools can help you identify potential cost overruns early on, giving you the opportunity to make adjustments and keep your project within budget.
So far, we've covered design, construction, and now scheduling. What about facility management? Are there any examples of AI being used to operate and maintain buildings more efficiently in Australia and New Zealand?
One area that's particularly relevant for our region is predictive maintenance, especially for critical infrastructure, like hospitals and airports. Companies are developing AI systems that can analyze data from building sensors to predict equipment failures before they occur. Imagine being able to avoid costly downtime in a hospital operating room or an airport terminal by anticipating and addressing potential issues before they become major problems.
That sounds like a game changer, especially for facilities that require high levels of reliability and uptime. What other examples of AI in facility management are you seeing?
AI can also play a significant role in optimizing building systems for energy efficiency. Given our region's focus on sustainability, this is a huge area of opportunity. Companies are using AI to analyze energy consumption patterns and identify areas where they can reduce waste, leading to significant cost savings and a smaller environmental footprint.
So it's not just about fixing problems. It's about making buildings smarter and more sustainable in the long run. A win-win for both building owners and the environment. All of these examples are incredible, but it also makes me wonder, as AI becomes more prevalent in BIM, what does it mean for the future of the construction industry in Australia and New Zealand?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's one that we need to be thinking about carefully. As an industry, it's clear that AI is going to have a profound impact on the way we design, build, and operate buildings. But it's important to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to shape how AI is developed and deployed in the construction industry to ensure that it benefits everyone.
So it's not about fearing the robots or worrying about being replaced by machines. It's about embracing the potential of AI to make our jobs easier, safer, and more fulfilling, and to ensure that those benefits are shared widely across the industry.
Exactly. It's about creating a more equitable and sustainable construction industry for everyone. And to do that, we need to be having open and honest conversations about the best ways to integrate AI, ensuring responsible use, and the consideration of potential impacts.
You're right. We can't just blindly adopt new technologies without considering their broader implications. We need to be thoughtful and deliberate in our approach to AI, just as we are with any other powerful tool. Speaking of which, one of the big concerns I've heard is about the potential impact on jobs. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a valid concern. Anytime you have, a transformative technology like AI, there are going to be questions about job displacement. But I think it's important to look at it from a broader perspective throughout history. New technologies have always kind of changed the nature of work. Jobs evolve, new roles emerge, and the skills that are in demand shift. The key is to adapt and stay ahead of the curve.
So it's not about AI taking jobs. It's about AI changing jobs.
Exactly. And it's about creating new opportunities that we can't even imagine yet. Think about it in the early days of BIM. Did anyone predict the rise of BIM managers, VDC coordinators, or computational designers? Probably not. But those roles emerged as the technology matured and the industry adapted. The same thing will happen with AI.
That's a really good point. We tend to focus on what might be lost, but often overlook the potential for new and exciting career paths to emerge.
Yeah.
So if you're a BIM professional listening to this right now, what are some tangible things you can do to prepare for this AI-driven future?
First and foremost, embrace lifelong learning. The construction industry is evolving at an incredible pace, and the skills that are in demand today might be obsolete tomorrow. Make a commitment to continuously updating your knowledge and skills, whether it's through formal education programs, online courses, industry events, or even just by staying curious and exploring new technologies on your own.
That's great advice, and it applies to everyone, not just those in the BIM world. It's easy to get comfortable with what we already know, but in a rapidly changing field like construction, standing still is the same as falling behind.
Absolutely. And it's not just about technical skills. As AI takes over more routine tasks, the ability to think critically, solve problems creatively, and communicate effectively will become even more valuable. These human skills are what will differentiate you in an increasingly automated world.
So it's not just about becoming an AI expert. It's about becoming a better, more well-rounded construction professional who can leverage AI effectively. It's about combining your technical expertise with those essential human skills.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to experiment. The world of AI and automation is constantly evolving, and the best way to learn is by doing. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do or how to do it. Jump in and start exploring these tools for yourself. There are tons of free resources available online, and many software companies offer trial versions of their AI-powered tools.
I love that. It's like that old saying, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And don't be afraid to share your knowledge and experiences with others. The construction industry has always been about collaboration, and that's going to be even more important in the age of AI.
Absolutely. We need to break down those silos and share what we're learning, both the successes and the failures. That's how we collectively raise the bar for the entire industry.
This has been an incredible conversation. I've learned so much, and I'm genuinely excited about the future of BIM and AI in Australia and New Zealand.
Me too. It's an exciting time to be in this industry, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
That's a fantastic way to wrap up our deep dive into AI and automation in BIM. I'm feeling inspired and ready to dive into this new world headfirst, and I hope our listeners are too. And that's a wrap on another episode of The Deep Dive, brought to you by the BIM Australia and New Zealand LinkedIn group. Share us with your friends to help keep these episodes going. Catch new episodes every Friday at 8 p.m. Melbourne time on Spotify. Feel free to share your thoughts and topic ideas in the comments. This podcast is hosted by Ehsan Makhtari and powered by AI. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep innovating.